G'day, ZiggyD here, and welcome back for part 15 of the Path of Exile Survival Guide, and welcome to Cruel. At the end of the last episode, we finally defeated Dominus in an epic battle, and you'll notice we are now in Cruel Act 1. That's right, we get to play the game over again, only this time, it gets much harder. And I really have to say, Path of Exile hits its stride when you first get into Cruel, and Cruel and Merciless is where things really start to get, you really have these interesting challenges to deal with, and the progression becomes much more enjoyable in my opinion. Normal's kind of fun to breeze through after you've played through the game a couple of times, but Cruel and Merciless for me is where it gets really fun. So you'll notice that there's now a waypoint on the beach. This is not normal. This is only there for Cruel and Merciless, and that's so that you can actually get here if you finished normal. So basically, when I actually restarted the game, because I logged out here, I actually started in Act 3 town, and was able to take the waypoint to here. So of course, we can talk to the Dying Exile again, but he's not going to give off any gem this time like he did last time. And as you can see, no gem there. So we can just go ahead and run the beach straight up. Oh, we actually spawned right next to a replenishing shrine. Oh, there's another shrine. So I'm interested to see if any new shrine types spawn now that we're in Cruel. So, while I'm clearing this out and grabbing chromatic items, of course, I want to talk a bit about how this survival guide's going to work in Cruel, because things are a little bit different. We've done all of the quest progression and things like that now. There's still some specific quest progression things to talk about in Cruel and Merciless difficulty, and that's because we tend to approach the different quests a little bit differently in these later difficulties, because mostly because zone levels scale a little bit differently. This is pretty awesome here, having these double shrine action happening. But you approach things a little bit differently. Like, we'll clear Act 2 a slightly different way, we'll do the side quests in Act 1 a little bit differently, and we'll clear Act 3 a little bit differently as well. But since I've already explained how the quests work and how to clear zones and things like that, I'm going to be doing less of that this time through, and in Merciless as well. And instead, we're going to be talking about and focusing on how to progress our character, how to gear up, and how to prepare and approach each new challenge. So things will probably skip around a little bit more, and you guys might see me you might not even see me in a specific zone, but I'll really condense it down as much as possible into the really core points that we'll be talking about that are really important for your progression. And hopefully, through me clearing through Cruel and showing you guys how I do that, you guys will be able to learn how to do that for yourselves, and we'll have less problems, because I know a lot of new players get stuck in somewhere in Cruel or early Merciless, so we'll try and get past that and show that off. But I'll tell you what, we're getting a ton of XP here on the beach because of all these shrines here. Lots of mob density. It's pretty cool stuff, and stacking a bunch of these shrines is pretty fun. Oh, look at this. This is insanity. I hope all of Cruel's like this. I wonder if there's more shrines or if I've just gotten particularly lucky on this beach here. That's pretty interesting. As you guys know, I haven't really played Domination before. I've been focusing on Nemesis since getting into the new season here. But so this is nice and fun for me to play around with all these new things. Now, when we get into Act 1 town, we're gonna do a bit of a look at our gear and take note of what needs upgrading desperately, what's okay for a while, and what we'll need to be able to progress. So, same deal for Hillick. You can pretty much still flask through him at this point, and looks like we're cursing him and everything with all of our shrines going on at the moment. And there we go. Oh, and he dropped nothing. Brutal. However, from Dominus, one of those items that we found was actually a pretty decent bow. It's got a double fizz roll. It's got a pretty low there fizz percentage roll. Is that actually... No, it's not an accuracy one. Okay, so it's just rolled very, very low. But 55% combined with the 11 to 9 physical damage do multiply out, and this is a pretty high DPS bow for us at the moment. Like, comparing it to our current one, the fizz damage here is 13 to 38. This is 40 to 120. So straight up there, a huge damage increase just because of the way those multiply together. And this is what we're going to be looking for a lot moving forwards with this character. We're going to be looking for bows that have those double fizz rolls. You can actually get 3 different fizz rolls on a bow, or any weapon really. You get a really high percentage roll, so this could be 50 to 100 or even slightly over that. Then you can get a combined fizz damage percentage with accuracy. So if you see that you've got really high fizz damage, you could have a fizz accuracy split roll. This is called a hybrid roll. And then we also want to get that flat physical damage modifier, because that is multiplied by that increased physical damage percentage modifier. So as you can see, even with the low 55% roll there, which, that could be as high as 100, that's still rolled out pretty well there. So unfortunately, we have to get another half a level before we can use that. It also doesn't have the exact sockets we need to run a 4 link at the moment, so we're going to have to start looking for different sockets and things like that we can use. In fact, this waxed garb could actually be pretty viable to use. Since it has 4 sockets, we can easily chromatic it. We could sell it for a chromatic orb, but we could probably use this because it's already falling. But we'll see what the vendors and stuff like that have for us at the moment. Now, we're pretty good in terms of jewelry and things like that. You'll notice our resists have dropped now that we're in Cruel. Cruel and Merciless have increasing negative multipliers to your resist. So when you actually come into Cruel, I can actually show this by taking off my gear with any gear with. I'll just take off everything. Take all of the clothing off. That doesn't have any resists on it. That has some cold resist. Take all of the things off. Oh no, I'm running out of space. Okay, and there's some cold resist. Okay, so you'll notice -8, -8, -8. Now we actually have some passives, I think, that gives resistances as well. So I think it's -20 is actually the modifier for Cruel. So as you can see, that increases, and we're going to have trouble re-equipping our gear now because of all the stats that are... Here we go. This should help out. If I unequip my gems. Oh no, what have I done? Screwed up everything. Okay, so what's happened, this is actually a nice thing to note. Because I had changed around my gear a bit, I'd actually lost intelligence and gone under the threshold for using a lot of my gear. I'm only like a few points off, but we can easily fix this on the passive tree now, since, or we could, you could get a piece of jewelry that gives you more intelligence, but I'm just going to go ahead and respec this one for now, and we'll grab that again next level. But for now, we'll just put this back into intelligence here, and that'll allow us to equip everything for now. But that's a little bit unfortunate, but we'll be okay. Alright, so for our quest reward for Hillock, I'm going to go ahead and take Molten Shell. There's a few options here, but none of them are really too good for us. Molten Shell will be used in our cast on damage taken setup eventually, so we'll go ahead and get this now and level it to about level 9, I think is the level. I'll have to double check, but we can level it a little bit, and then we'll just double check there. This is one of the few skills we won't level. Anything in our cast on damage taken setup, we won't be leveling because the base gem determines the maximum level you can use of everything attached to it, so that's fine for now. But we'll check now whether he has any extra linked gear that we could use. A linked chest would be optimal, or a 4-link boots or gloves or helmet or something like that could be good. But it looks like no luck now, so I will consider using this. Our current chest is, what level is our current chest if we take the gems out? It is level 28, so this is a 4-level jump there, not too bad. This chest has 43 life on it, so it's not too bad, but we could potentially craft up something better than that. But I think we're okay for just now, so we'll go ahead and do this. We want to level up so we can use this extra bow first anyway. We can go ahead and equip our double Quicksilver Flask now to go a bit faster. Now something I want to point out is on this character we've had very, very few currency drops. So, this just happens sometimes. You have pretty bad RNG. We've had a couple of okay item drops, but not much currency. This means that we're going to be a little bit slower in acquiring the extra support gems and skills that we need that we can't get on our current character. So, to combat this a little bit, I actually have been practicing races a little bit, and I did run a Scion, I think, to Brutus and got a Decoy Totem. Decoy Totem is a fantastic defensive skill to have. We're going to have to level it a bit before it becomes useful, but otherwise, I'd just go ahead and buy one of those if I had a bit of currency, something like 1 Alc or 10 alterations or something would get you a Decoy Totem. They're really not expensive, but as I said, you can always just mule it to Brutus to get one of those. So in progressing through these zones now in Cruel, we'll already be a little bit overleveled. More than likely you're going to be a little bit overleveled from having faced Dominus. He's like a big hurdle, and things go back to being a little bit easier for a while in these earlier zones. So I'm just going to be clearing through, killing the big packs, rounding things up, using my AoE to kill them. So I'm getting a little bit of experience as I'm running around, killing blue packs and things like that for gear. But mostly we're going to be pushing to ledge as fast as possible. So we've just about reached Tidal Island. Now we're actually going to be skipping Tidal Island for a while. Something happens in Cruel and Merciless where side quests become a higher level than the actual zones you're normally facing. So I'll actually show this off. The gap isn't as profound in Cruel, but in Merciless it's a big jump. But for now, it's still a good idea, and it's much safer to skip these zones temporarily. So just to show this off, we have the coast is level 35. This zone here, Twilight Strand, is level 35. But Tidal Island is a jump up to level 38, so that's a 3-level jump for only being a side quest of this zone. So what we're actually going to do is progress to ledge, get the waypoint there, and then come back and do Tidal Island. Same thing with the submerged passive and the crab in there. The passage, we want to delay that for a little while because it'll be higher level. So all of these side quest zones are going to be higher level than what you're progressing through the game normally at. So generally you want to progress a little bit further and then come back and do those quests. So wow, the boss has followed us all the way to the entrance. I guess I'll kill these guys off for now. Nothing dropped from the Fire Fury, unfortunately. What is this? A replenishing shrine. This rare over here is a regen rare, as you can see, and because our damage, we need to upgrade our bow. Our damage is pretty low. We can barely even break through his regen. So, learn which rares to skip. You know, he's not worth the time it's going to take to kill him. I could probably frenzy him down eventually, but in terms of efficiency, we want to just skip things like that. Double regen mobs, so ones that have a regen aura and regen on themselves, or regen plus life leech, or regen plus resist physical damage, or something like that. They're all good ones to skip if you're trying to just keep up your efficiency. Move on and kill something else and get your XP that way. Oh, we've got an arcing shrine here, lots of mobs to take out with it. Oh, we tagged it! Got it snuck in there and tagged it. Now, in terms of Decoy Totem, we will eventually have a Decoy Totem on our cast on damage taken setup, but we'll probably actually run 2 of these, so we're free to level this one as much as we want. In fact, we want to get it as high a level as possible, because the more you level up the Decoy Totems, the tankier they get, so we're going to level this one up and use it on our button here. I'll talk about how to use Decoy Totem. Here we go, this rare is a good example here. Basically, you generally want to put it on the other side of the mobs, use it to group up packs. It's going to get one shot now because it's low level, but it will distract dangerous rares and things like that. It'll also cause mobs to group up, because what it does is it uses a taunting ability there. It's an AoE taunt, and everything will be more than likely attracted to it. Sometimes they'll still go for you, but for the most part they'll be attracted to that. So you want to use that to group things up, so you can lightning arrow them down if it's a dangerous pack of blues, or just to distract rares, or even to distract like bosses like Brutus. You can throw it on the opposite side of Brutus, and that'll help out with that sort of thing there. Whoa, getting hit by a lot of rowers here. We use projectile weakness on the larger packs here just to get them down a bit faster. It's good against things like rowers and stuff that charge, that do a lot of damage that you want to avoid, because they'll charge on that, they'll use their charge on that, and then most likely they'll walk to you instead. The good thing about Decoy Totem is also you can kind of just spam it. If it gets killed, you can spam it again. If you're playing with a party, you can have one person just like continually putting up Decoy Totems whenever they die to distract dangerous bosses and things. And it's a common map tactic, and it's a common tactic against any sort of dangerous enemy. Would have been nice to have gotten one earlier, but as I said, we didn't have any currency drops, and I didn't go back and mule one there. But you guys could mule one a bit earlier if you wanted, or just get one and start leveling it now. No big deal there. Let's see how our character's life is going against mobs like Uzbek Bloom. We have a fairly large life pool, and we have some regen nodes, so we should be able to regen through his degen quite a bit. Yeah, we're taking a bit of damage, but it's not too profound. We can easily flask through it, or use our life on hit from our main attack there. Good to note these sort of things and how much damage you're taking from things. I think a very good hardcore strategy, even if you're not playing hardcore, but in general, when you're playing hardcore especially, is to, whenever you get into a new zone or you're progressing to a new area, test things out, see how much stuff hurts you, like take a hit from a zombie, see, okay, that hits me for about 300 life, if I get surrounded by that, that's actually pretty dangerous, so be very aware of all these things and how much they can hurt you. And I'm actually running out of fast charges, but we should be able to tank through it. Oh, there we go. Anything good? No, just slowly collecting up some currency there. But what's this? No, nothing good for us there. Oops, taking off my bow. Almost high enough level to use our new bow now. So we definitely want to make sure we tag the waypoint in our lower submerged passage. This is the same deal as before, but even more important now, because last time we went and did the Granddaddy Crab right away to get that passive point, but we're actually going to be delaying that for a while now because it's a higher level zone. So we want to make sure we grab the waypoint this time, so it's nice and easy to come back here later. So now that a few rares are dropped here, I'll take a second to talk about what items we're going to be picking up in Crawl. Crawl's kind of the point where some really good leveling items will actually sell if you want to run a shop thread. So I've made videos about running a shop thread, and I'll try and remember to link that in the description below. But if not, you'll be able to find those on my channel pretty easily. But in general, if you find some nice rares now, you can actually start to sell them for like an Alk or a Chaos here and there, and we get up a fair bit of... Is that an Exile? Oh, we've encountered a Rogue Exile. So I'll just finish what I'm saying. We're at Rogue Exile, jeez. But you can sell these really good rares. Otherwise, you can just pick them up for alteration shards, and that's still worth it. So for the most part, we're going to be picking up and IDing rares if they're really good, selling them, vendoring them, or keeping them for alternate characters or things like that. Especially in hardcore, these things are going to sell. So we have Aura Greengate, which is the Rain of Arrows archer here. She doesn't have much projectile speed on her Rain of Arrows, so whenever she fires, you can kind of Quicksilver and move out of the AoE of that pretty easily. So she's not too hard, she's not too hard. Though she does hit pretty hard, especially if your gear isn't quite up to spec or if you don't have a ton of life, which we do have quite a lot of life, and you can see she hits pretty hard when she does actually get us there. So I'm just going to use my AoE ability since there's a big pack here, and I'll keep rounding up the packs and killing these guys at the same time as damaging her. Does she have... I don't believe she has regen or anything like that. So, since we've just leveled, I'm actually going to take a trip back to town a sec, so we can equip our new bow, and then we can punish Aura Green Gate with our new bow. So let's see what we can do in terms of links though. Let's check out these items first. That's pretty low damage. What about the buckler? And that's got some life, and not much in the way it resists, so those sorts of things won't really sell. But what can we do in terms of links? We've leveled, so the vendors will have refreshed. We can check that out. We've got, oh yes, okay, cool. The quest reward for breaking the eggs quest, accessing, opening up that closed passage there. So, the bronze scale boots are going to be best for us, armor evasion, and they have 4 links, so if this even rolled mediocre, I'm going to use these because we need the 4 link. And they have 20% move speed. Yes, yes. So good. And they actually have pretty nice armor and evasion, 50% increased, and some resist on them, so very nice stuff. Where we have a fair bit of life on these boots, so they're okay, and they have some resist, but we can easily drop that now, and we can run our main skill on this. Now we need 3 green and 1 red, which is very easy to roll on armor evasion. That's why we want to prioritize getting that sort of gear if possible. And there we go, first chromatic again, getting the chromatic blessings from the RNG gods. And now we have our equipment set up in our boots. Pretty nice stuff. A little bit weird, but it's alright. Now these boots we could potentially keep. They don't really have move speed though, so they wouldn't suck. So I'm just going to go ahead and vendor those there. Getting some currency. But now we have our nice new bow, which has bumped our DPS on lightning arrow up to 92. And frenzy's getting pretty high as well, so doing pretty nicely there. If we had an excess of blacksmith whetstones, we could sink 20 into this, but we'll probably find an upgrade before that really pays off. So allocating my new skill point, I want to go ahead and grab these resists again, because that's going to be helpful for moving forwards through crew. Our resists are pretty low, and we want to try and get those capped probably by the end of this act. If not, we'll have to do some switching around. But let's see if Aura Green Gate is here. Here she is. And we should be able to use temporal chains actually to slow her down a lot. Oh, she hits pretty hard. She hits pretty hard, and she's got her frenzy charges up as well, so she's attacking much faster there. Let's attack some of these guys to get some heals. Pretty brutal. This is going to be a bit of a tougher fight actually. I thought it was going to be a bit easier, but without the other packs to heal off of, she's doing quite a bit of damage to us. We can hit the lightning arrows against the wall there, which they're all proc off the wall and hit her. So we're doing actually pretty good damage that way. Use our Quicksilver Flask to dodge a rain of arrows. Now, a side effect of our increased physical damage on our bow here, since we have a very high phys damage bow whereas before we had an elemental damage bow primarily, is that our life leech is going to be much more effective. We have 2% life leech from the tree, so having much higher physical base damage there is going to make that much more effective. And that's another reason where we're going to be focusing on physical damage bows. It's going to help us support blood magic much better. But we're getting close here. I don't know if I'm going to have to go back to town for a refresh. Maybe if we kill some other mobs, we can get some charges back. Just do play it safe, play it safe. Well, it looks like it's going to have to come down to the regen, because that is a dead end there, and there's no other mobs. She's lost her frenzy charges at least, so disengaging did have its benefits. And there we go! Now the reason I wanted to kill her off is that exiles do indeed drop 1 of every item. They're essentially like killing another player. So you get 1 of every item, and since she's a bow character, there's a very strong chance that we're going to get stuff that's going to be very good for us. In fact, there's a lot of rares here that are very exciting, and we could check out these rings, citrine amulets. They drop extra stuff as well, but that's the main thing. And there's her bow, but that's probably not going to be too good for us. We'll check the chest. No, we won't bother with the bow since we already have pretty nice ones there. We have a nice boot. We'll check the chest in case it's nicer than ours, and it's I think that's a higher level one than ours as well. So let's check these out, see if we've got any stick loots. The heavy quiver first. Oh! Increased projectile speed, cold resistance, and damage. Our current one is just cold resist, so that's actually a pretty nice increase in damage too. 1 to 27 lightning is a really good roll at this point in the game. So, bam! On the ground, 106 DPS on lightning arrow, looking pretty good. The wand we might be able to just sell or something like that. What about these gloves? We're in need of a glove upgrade. Oh, yes! Oh, fire damage, extra dex, some life, a very small life roll, but a nice amount of resist on these gloves as well. So we're losing some life, but that's going to be worth it. That's going to be a nice increase in damage there. Oh, get rid of you, squid. But, oh man, that Rogue Exile was profitable. Super profitable. But, this you could potentially sell for like an ALK if someone needed it. It's pretty low level, but it could potentially sell if we were going to run a shop thread on this. I'm not going to be running a shop thread on Domination, I don't think, so I probably won't worry about it, but just pointing these things out for you guys. And we have some other stuff to identify. That won't be any good for us. What about, we need to re-equip Molten Shell. Time on Claw, and we can identify these things a little bit later. This leather belt could also be good, but we need to get some more ID scrolls for now. But that was a good fight. That was profitable. Molten Shell's level 3. Decoy Totem can keep getting leveled up here. So, oh, we need to make sure to grab the waypoint. I almost forgot myself. So, now that we've killed that Rogue Exile and geared ourselves up a little bit more nicely, let's check out how our resists are going. We've actually got capped lightning resist, still pretty low cold, so we're going to have to be careful of that moving forwards, especially when we get to Mervale and things like that. But our fire resist is a healthy 52%, which is going to carry us through this act. There's not too much fire damage in this act we have to worry about, just in the rocky climb and those sorts of areas there, like fireballing mobs and things like that. But for the most part, it's pretty easy to avoid. There's like some, there's the exploding wolves and things like that that deal fire damage, but not too bad, not too bad. 50% will carry us through alright. Now we've made our way onto the ledge, which was our main goal for now. Level 37, level 38. Now you could easily farm the ledge up to like 40. You could even farm it to 45 if you're really struggling with gear and things like that. Or if you want to grab a few more levels before progressing forwards. And if you're in hardcore, that's actually not a bad idea. It's something you could potentially do. We probably won't spend too much time farming ledge on this character. We just got some nice gear upgrades from that exile. But if we hadn't have encountered that exile, it might actually be worth considering farming a bit of ledge for gear primarily. Because it's actually like a bit of a level jump up from the previous zones, it's actually a pretty nice place to get some more appropriate level gear for as our character moving forwards. So, man, struggling to grab that portal scroll, jeez. But it's a good spot to get some nice, safe experience. You don't need any resists in this zone. Like, Kuduka does lightning damage, but you don't even need to fight him if you don't want to. So it's a really nice place to safely farm in hardcore, and even in default if you want to progress a little bit. Remember, now importantly, that we are in Cruel. You can't zerg through. If we die now in Cruel, in Domination or Softcore or any of those leagues, you have an experience penalty. So you don't want to, you know, you can potentially just level up so you don't actually have any XP on your current level and then die a few times and you won't lose anything. But I don't know, I don't like that method so much myself personally, but it is an option if you want to try and zerg down a boss. But for the most part, I like playing it safe and progressing through without losing any XP. At the moment, losing, you know, a little bit of XP is not a big deal. But as we move forwards, I don't know why I'm lightning arrowing that guy. As we move forwards, losing that XP could be like, you know, it could be half an hour, it could be a couple of hours even of farming to get that XP back. So it becomes a big hit later on as we move forwards. Mostly in Merciless, but in Cruel, it's still a little bit of a setback we want to avoid. Let's slay Kuduku in this blue pack here. We'll see if we get some nice loot upgrades. There's a Topaz Ring and Jeweler's Orb. We also need some more currency, so if we get some currency drops, that'd be pretty good. There is a currency drop penalty if you're farming zones that you're much higher level for, but since we're level appropriate for ledge, as long as we're within a few levels of it, we're not going to be experiencing any sort of currency drop penalty, so we can start getting some currency drops. And the Glass Blowers Bauble, man, that's like the first one of those we've seen. They're incredibly rare now, so that's why we're saving up our quality flasks to eventually trade for those. But we'll kill down Kuduku and see if we get any good gear here. Kuduku is so much easier now. They recently nerfed the amount of time that Spark travels around for, so they tend to fizzle out much earlier now, and there's just a lot less sparks to deal with. There's a recurve bow there. What level is that? That's, no, we don't want a recurve bow. We already have a very nice bow, and it's going to be hard for the recurve bow to top that. Got the double fizz roll there. I should be picking up scrolls. Now, we've reached the climb, but we're not going to be progressing through climb now. We're actually going to refresh ledge and do another run back to the waypoint. If you want to farm ledge for a while, you just want to do a couple runs, you know, maybe like 5 or 10 runs back and forth, refreshing ledge each time. We're getting really good XP in here at the moment. Like, I just killed these 3 packs, and you can see like a pretty noticeable jump in our XP bar. And, oh, what? Went the wrong way. But we're getting really nice XP in here, so farming ledge is quite viable. And we just do that. But I'm going to push my way back to the waypoint and then head back to Tidal Island and do that quest there, so we can get our quest reward for that. Oh, this is going to be some juicy XP. Oh, look at that XP jump. Blue pack's so juicy. But anything good here for us either? No, not quite. But we do have a few pieces of gear to identify. I just picked up a rare helmet that could be good. We'll keep leveling Molten Shell. I'm pretty sure we're taking it to level 9. Level 8 or 9. I will double check before it gets there. When it gets to like level 8, I'll double check that that's the level we want to take it to. But let's check out this helmet. No, that's pretty bad. What about this chest? Nope, no life. So not going to be wearing that for now. Oh, Alk Orb, fantastic. Now, if we were really desperate, we could find the highest level item possible, so we'd want to find like a level, something that's level 38-ish for us. It depends on the actual type of item that we're looking at. But we want to find the highest level possible, and then we could use the Alk on that item. But I think the preferred route for us is going to be to save that Alk for now, and use that to buy a support gem or skill that we need. So what I'll actually do is, after this episode, I'll create a list of support gems and skills that we still need, and then basically have that as a shopping list, and whenever something like an Alk drops, we'll use that to trade. You guys saw previously that I simply just typed in a few of the trade chats, you know, want to buy, I think I bought life gain on hit, 1 Alk, and you'll pretty easily get a sale doing that, so we'll do that, we'll find out what we want to buy, and then I'll use that probably next episode to buy a support gem for us, because we're going to need some more support gems for Lightning Arrow, we're going to need some for Frenzy. Frenzy's currently not linked to anything. It'd be nice to get that linked to something like added fire or faster attacks would be really nice to increase the damage for our single target, because currently our single target's a little bit lackluster. But there's a few things we could buy with that. That's going to give us more value than alking a piece of gear at the moment. But that is an option if you want to go for the self-found crafting route, is to just try and find the highest level item you can, and then alk that to try and get something good. Preferably though, I think through Cruel and through all of Normal and most of Cruel even, that you can actually get by on blue items exclusively. So for example, now we need a chest upgrade. Our chest is a little bit behind. It has life and resists on it. But what we want to do, let's say we've recently found this Eelskin Tunic here, level 37. That's very level appropriate for us. So what we could do is we could use Alteration Orbs until we get either life or resist. If we get that as a single affix, we can use an augmentation to see if we get the other one we want. So we could use one of those. And then try and get the combination of life and resist. Or if we get a really high life roll, we can just stick with that. Or if we get a really high resist roll, we could stick with that as well, depending on what we need. But it's pretty easy to get by on blue items, especially if you're playing a physical damage build, because you can even just get by with a high physical damage roll on your weapon and nothing else. You could potentially roll attack speed as well, because attack speed is a suffix and physical damage is a prefix, so we could roll something like 80% increased physical damage and 10% attack speed. That would be a fantastic bow at this level. Doesn't even need to be a rare. So don't place too much value on rares, just on the actual stats we specifically need, which more often than not, it's only 1 or 2 of those. Of course, a nice rare can exceed those sorts of things, but it's not hard to craft your own gear at this point in the game, just with alterations and transmutations and augmentation orbs. Alright, so we've reached the waypoint again. I'm going to take the mud flats one back here. We're running out of inventory space. Maybe I should do a trip back to town, but that'll do for now. I'll head back to the coast and go to Tidal Island. So heading into here, we want to check our cold resist. We only have 28% cold resist, and Hailrake hits harder than ever before. If you thought he was scary and normal, getting you with those ice spears freezing you instantly, he's going to be much worse now, because we're going to have negative resists unless we have some good resistance gear. And with only 28%, that's actually pretty low, doable, but pretty low. So if I have a resist ring, what I'll do is I'll actually switch that out just for this fight, which I might do. I've picked up quite a few resistance rings recently. So let's check that out. Do we have anything with cold resist? That's got a little bit of cold resist. We could switch it out for our lightning resist ring there, or we could identify something and see if we get some cold resist, like maybe Chaos Ring? Ooh, that's actually not a bad ring with life, dexterity, and chaos resist. But we don't really need any extra chaos resist at the moment. Chaos resist isn't too important leveling up. But let's see if we get any cold resist on maybe this lightning one. Nope. Okay, well, we're going to have to go through this with no cold resist. We could go and farm ledge a little bit more, get a little bit tougher before doing this fight. But level 38, we're level 38. I feel okay. Oh, there's Hailrake and we've been frozen. Oh man, that was a bit brutal. he off-screen froze us. Dodging! They do have a maximum rage, so we can outrun that with the Quicksilver, but we want to get somewhere where we can avoid him a little bit more. Let's Temporal Chains him to slow him down a little bit. Temporal Chains is a very short duration at this point, so something we need to keep reapplying it after every few attacks. I should actually look at the actual duration. There we go, it's only a few seconds, so we can get about 4 attacks in before we need to reapply that. But we can still pretty safely work him down here, as you can see. Just avoid those attacks as much as possible. Oops, not quite. Now, if we get in close to him, he's we're probably actually going to be able to tank him alright. Oh, he hits really hard since we don't have any cold resist. His melee attack does do extra cold damage. And his ice spears, although they'll pierce through us at close range, his melee attack's a bit too dangerous for us at the moment. So I'm going to kind of just like stay just within the piercing range here. And you know, outside of the crit range of Ice Spear, so which is about there. You can see when he was standing there, they transform about over there, so we can kind of stay just in that sweet spot there to avoid the majority of the damage. And with Temporal Chains, he's not too hard to do that with. So there we go. Maple Round Shield, we'll just grab that. Yeah, I'm not really too fast. Bone Bow, level 24, a little bit too low. And the Light Quiver, we've got a really nice Quiver at the moment, so nothing good for us. So we can just head back to town now that we've got the medicine chest. And grab our quest rewards, although we also need to do some selling of gear. Okay, so now this time you have a option the same as before of some flasks, but we actually have magic flasks this time. So if you needed a you know, a rolled life flask, now would be a good time to do it. I kind of actually want to grab a Quicksilver because we're using 2 at the moment, and I want to keep 1 white one to roll later because we want to use some glass balls baubles on it when it's white. So I'll grab the blue Quicksilver for now, and we'll actually do our selling first. Okay, so we're super low on Wisdom Scrolls, so what I'm actually going to do is sell 2 of these guys. I like to keep a minimum of 4 Armorer's Scraps or Blacksmith Whetstones, because then if you get a white item you want to craft, you can use those to craft it up to 20%. But we can sell any extras for now to identify gear. And, oh man, that's terrible. And that's pretty bad too. Okay, no luck there. Alright, we'll grab out a gem reward. Same quest, we get a gem reward from Bastille here. And what do we actually get? I'm not actually sure what we'll be taking from this. We don't need Iron Grip since we get that on the passive tree. Less than multiple projectiles, not necessary, we already have one. Actually, it looks like we don't really need any of these ones. Endurance Charge or Melee Stun's going to be useless. Actually, oh no, that's increased duration. No, that's not helpful for us either. We need a decreased duration later on. So none of these particularly useful, so the best one to take would probably actually be Multi-Traps, because that can actually sell for like an Alch or even a Chaos. So we'll grab Multi-Traps and just stick that in our vendor, and maybe if we were running a shop we could sell that, but I'll probably just hang on to it, to be honest. So, we actually need a bit of a better amulet. We have a 12 to all attributes, which is a really low roll on the Onyx amulet there. It's got 6 to 12 fizz, which is really nice, and life gain on kill is not very helpful for us. So, I'm actually pretty interested in crafting an Onyx. I'm going to go ahead and use an Orb of Chance to see if we get a rare. No rare there. Strength's not going to be too useful for us, so we have a few alterations. We have 8, and I'm willing to blow these on trying to craft something good here. So let's go. Cold Resist is good. We need to... we only have 1 augmentation though, so that's going to be a bit of a bottleneck for us. 1 or 2 cold. Ooh, that's a pretty bad roll. I don't know if that's worth losing the 6 to 12 fizz. We do desperately need cold resist, so what I'll do is I'll just use this for now, and we'll keep our alterations aside, and we can re-roll that later, or if we find another Onyx amulet, we can re-roll that again then. Okay, so after doing Tidal Island and getting our rewards then, we can go back to the Submerged Passage and get our passive point from there. Now, again, we're skipping the passive respec quest until we actually need. So you'll notice the Flooded Depths is level 38 again, so we're free to do that at pretty much the same time. If you can do Tidal Island, you're pretty safe to do Flooded Depths as well. It's probably actually not any harder than Tidal Island. There's some mobs in here that can do a little bit of damage with the freezing attacks and things like that. These guys do cold damage with their ranged attacks and things like that. Oh, if we encountered an Exile though, this could actually be a bit challenging. We're in a higher level zone, so remember that Exiles scale to the zone level. So this guy's going to be level 38, which is going to be a bit of a challenge. Jonah Unchained, I think this guy's actually pretty nasty as well. So I'm going to have to try and use as many walkways and walls and things like that to distract this guy as possible. We can also use our Decoy Totem and choke points here to keep him off us. He's got Cleave though, so we need to stay out of range of that. But this guy's going to be tough. This could be an interesting fight. But again, we'll get some good gear. It's not going to be as appropriate for us since he's not a ranged character. But we could get some like nice rings or amulets off him. So definitely worth the kill. Also, fighting Exiles is a ton of fun. So I'm just keeping my Temporal Chains up and trying to keep up my Decoy Totem as much as possible. Decoy's getting like 1 or 2 shot at the moment, but Temporal Chains keeps him alive a little bit longer. And it's mostly keeping him off us. So that's the main thing. Oh man, that heavy strike hurts. Well, this has been a pretty epic fight of using all of our defensive tactics and things like that. Looks like we're about to get him down though. And come on, there we go. Oh, a rare Onyx amulet. Oh, that could be really good. Let's check out these rings as well. There's a death bow. I think that's too low level really to look at. Anything good? Anything else that could be good for us? I think we're all pretty good in all these other slots. The full plate, 81 strength. We're pretty good for strength. We could potentially wear that. Let's see how it rolled. Oh, 50 to life. That's actually... We're losing some cold resist. We're pretty low on cold resist as it is. But I think 50 life with 200 armor. It's got the exact same amount of armor. Evasion's converting to armor, obviously. But, extra life? No, I don't think it's worth dropping the resist, actually. But not bad, not bad. What about this Onyx Amulet? We have some extra life, mana, lightning resist. Oh, and life leech. Actually, that's really good. Okay, we're definitely going to be using that. Fantastic stuff. So that's a base 16 Onyx Amulet as well, which is really nice. So, pretty profitable fight. Well worth doing again. The Exiles coming through for us again. Earning us some good gear. Now, the crab's pretty easy. You can use your temporal chains to slow him down and Decoy Totem to distract him, although it has to be in range with the Decoy Totem. And he's pretty easy to deal with. The ranged one is going to do a little bit more damage to you and a bit harder to avoid as a ranged character, but not particularly dangerous. It does cold damage though, again, so just be a little bit careful. Try to avoid that if your cold resists are low. And there we go. Oh, some boots. Anything else good? We could potentially wear Holy Chainmail, although our int's a little bit low. Yeah, not worth it. Oh, and we didn't identify the boots because we ran out of scrolls. Oh well. So that pretty much covers it for this episode. We did pretty well. We went to the ledge and we did the side quests. After getting to the ledge, you know, that just helps us get a little bit more gear on the way. We can farm ledge if we need to at that point. So if you're not quite ready for those side quests, you're free to go ahead and farm the ledge. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.